Hey everyone, it is the 16th of March 2023, and we are on UX Research Call number 16 with this cozy crew of people. We have Art here, who's our product manager. We have Jakub, who's contributing to the project, and we have Noi as well. Noi, is this your first call with us?
For you mean for the research Bitcoin?
Yeah.
No, I think I was on one a few weeks back.
Okay, cool. And how did you find your way in this space? Are you a designer or researcher or learning or
I'm a designer, but I'm learning Bitcoin design as well.
cool, nice. Art, you do a really good job of giving a little bit of an intro. Might be nice for Noyi since he's new.
Okay, give me 1 second to think through the intro. Okay, so very briefly, this is the brainchild of two humans, Mo and Christoph, who Christoph is not here right now. Started about a year ago, actually, right? Just the idea formed in the fall / early winter of 2022. Mo began to find other crazy people who wanted to participate, brought them along, and the goal and intention really, I'm going to share a link here and also share my screen. The goal and intention really is to create a document, an asset that allows builders, founders, designers, et cetera, in the Bitcoin ecosystem to build, usable, feasible, viable, moral, ethical products. And the UX Research Toolkit is a means to an end to get there. So the approach we've taken is asking ourselves and also being designers, being builders, reflecting what are the different tools that are required along the journey of building something in the world. So we've written out assets for phase one. Phase one will show you has been a few tools such as user journeys, jobs to be done, competitive research. So these already exist as betas, and you could take a look at them, if you wish. At present, we're moving towards further steps, such as what it's like to prototype, right? What kinds of UX research tools exist in that space, and what it's like to do ongoing building or ongoing, what do we call it? Oh my gosh, I forgot. Anyway.
Yeah, it's continuation basically, like
Yeah, ongoing building, not launching. But anyway, we'll share that. So where we're at now is we're writing out those tools.
yeah, we're creating the content right now, and that content could be something like we start in a Google document, and then from the Google document we decide, are we in alignment? Do we like the content we've produced? And then we pretty much, some of the tools need a Figma file, some of them don't. It just depends. That's that kind of thing. I have a rough list of stuff I'd like to discuss, but is there anything that you guys would like to discuss?
I don't know if you listed the question I posted. The question I came up with after OpenUX meeting, like 2 meetings ago. So what is Bitcoin about this research, right? So I don't know if you listed that. But.
I love that question. I actually really love that question because let me add it over here as well. Just a second. I really like that question.
Do you mind repeating it, Jakub?
Sorry?
Do you mind repeating that question?
So I was just thinking, this was a question that was raised in my mind on the call with OpenUX.
Yeah.
Like we're building this UX research kit, but like as an addition to kind of Bitcoin design guide, but Bitcoin design is tailored for Bitcoin problems. And so far in the UX research, it's just a general. It looks like a general UX research tool, which is maybe fine. I don't know. But if we are part of the design community, maybe let's think how we can tailor that as well for it to be Bitcoin focused and not just another list of UX methods that you can find on the web, like, hundreds of packages or pages or Notion templates and all that stuff. So maybe we can somehow tailor it or just supply it with Bitcoin UX Bitcoin related content. And it's an open question. Please, I haven't spent like.
You have such a good point, Jakob, because there's many UX research toolkits that exist on the market, but this toolkit is going to be specifically for Bitcoin and Lightning builders. So how can we make this more Bitcoin? Because it needs to really be more specific to these people when they get their hands on it. So I think we do need to really address that question that Jakob asked, and maybe ideate even in just like a Google document. Because Jakob already had, hey, Christoph, I saw you were listening in, but Jakob raised a really good question is how can we make this UX research toolkit more Bitcoin so that it doesn't feel like a generic UX research toolkit that exists across, other ecosystems. I think and Jakob, you already shared some really good points as well in the Signal group as well.
Yeah, one was, yeah, I think the main ones is that if we show any examples, we should just show examples of Bitcoin related products, right? I mean, either if it's a case study or it's like one sentence of how, like I did this with the mapping, I guess. So I was trying to show an examples of like that the map can be journey map can be used for like onboarding of a wallet, let's say, right, of a Bitcoin wallet. So we can show an examples, but even like in one sentence, but or perhaps case studies or stuff like that. And some other ways, I guess, but I'm not yet sure how. But also, I just thought actually because it's Bitcoin related, in some ways it's easier. For example, a compensation for users is easier in a way that we don't need to do a wire transfer. We just can send satoshis easily. Yeah, but that's part of the compensation, and just using some satoshis for compensation is, I think, worth mentioning somewhere. I think I had one more idea, but I don't remember exactly.
All of your ideas, you had so many ideas about this. It's all in our Signal group. I'm actually going to copy and paste. You were on a roll at some point. You were just sending a whole lot of messages about how can we make it more Bitcoin. So I'm going to go into our Signal group and copy and paste all those messages.
Yeah, the other important thing was that a lot of people, well, in Bitcoin space, but yeah, I mean, a lot of people in that space is anonymous and or everything that involves Bitcoin is kind of quite different security-wise from, let's say, other research areas, or it's kind of similar with financial, let's say, areas, but with Bitcoin, transactions are reversible, and people are still getting stolen. The people's wallets are still getting stolen and all that stuff. So I think that part, kind of security part, and this being aware of that some people might want to be anonymous or don't show face during the interview, say, like so just being accepting about that and open for not pushing too hard for interviewers, let's say, to show their face. That perhaps in other fields would be more. It's useful for the interview to see your face, like an expressions, facial expressions. So I think in other fields it's probably more advisable to kind of pressure a little bit to get that, but but that would differ in this space. That maybe sometimes it's okay not to do this. So this is another like area. This can be expanded, I guess, but yeah, and I'm sure there's more. There's 3 random thoughts that came up to me. And I just
I'm
wrote.
pretty sure Christoph has good input with this as well, but he's listening in, so I'm not going to ask him a question. I'll let him jump in if and when he wants to. But I think it might be a good idea to, create a Google document with the question, how can we make the UX research toolkit more Bitcoin and really specific to the Bitcoin and Lightning space? But it's a really good question. Yeah. And then, I've been working on,
Sorry, can I
yeah, go ahead.
I can create a document, but I'm wondering, do you want to have this discussion like on GitHub, or I'm just wondering if I should just link the document on GitHub, like issue in the new repository, or should we just discuss it on GitHub? What do you think?
Now I'm going to hand it over to Art.
Do it, man.
Okay.
Do you want to do it, Art? Because you've created this GitHub project folder for us to work in. Do you maybe want to speak a bit about that? Because,
Let's do it. So, just as a way of in the past, we've been using a combination of memory / random Figma files / our project plan doc, and in addition, our project plan folder. And it seems like in our space, a lot of folks like playing with GitHub. So I proposed shifting our main kind of project work, like main buckets of what folks are doing, to GitHub. And so we have it now. It exists, and folks can use it as they wish. Primarily, my invitation was to, just have folks remember what everyone is accountable to and accountable for. But to Jakob's point, we could easily, start talking about issues as an idea, right? Or put that, let's say, as an in progress question in our project plan, right? And I'm not an expert in GitHub, so I look to people like you, Jakob, to lead the way with best practices. But we do have the repo now, and we can use it.
Yeah, I'm down with using the repo. I'm perfectly fine with using it. How do you feel about it, Jakob?
Yeah, let's do this. I'm also not I started using GitHub regularly like 2 months ago. So it's not like that. Super.
Well, it's 1 more month more than me, so there we go.
Okay, so this is really funny. So I didn't know how to use GitHub 8 months ago. I don't know, really literally 8 months ago. And I've needed to learn how to use it for my work in the Bitcoin design community. And, it was really, I had to laugh because Art sent me a message, Mo, can you teach me how to use GitHub? And I just remember thinking, wow, I was in his shoes literally a couple months ago, and now he's asking me. But I think that when you teach someone else, you really see if you actually understand it yourself. So we're actually having a session. Is it Tuesday? I think on Tuesday we're meeting, right?
Yep.
And I'm going to do a GitHub session with him and teach him how to use. I hope I can answer all of your questions. I'll do my best. So
yeah, I look forward to it. But to your point, Jakob, let's throw it in as an issue. I'll continue tracking stuff in our project plan, just because it's like for people who don't use GitHub, it could be a central place. But then best practice is, why don't I just link this project plan from our repo, right? So anyway, we'll figure that out offline, off script.
Art, do you want to maybe start? I'm going to give the floor over to you. Do you want to speak about the tools and the the direction, sort of, because there's a whole bunch of stuff that we still need to create. I've been working most of my day today. I've been spent on the UX research toolkit. I've been working on that on the diagram. The diagram that we ideated on.
Why don't you share that? Why don't we have a look at that now? Yep, I think that would be very helpful.
All right, I shared it in the research channel as well, but in terms of feedback, feel free to actually comment in this Figma file itself. So I had fun with this. I'm going to be really honest with you. I really enjoyed doing this. I worked last night until I had a 13-hour workday yesterday because I was enjoying myself so much. It's crazy. But we have iteration one of this. It's not here now, but we have iteration one, and iteration two was based on all of these questions. So I grabbed my iPad and I started drawing. I wanted to make things fun. And these were the groupings, these were the buckets. One bucket was, are we building the right thing? The second bucket was, we are going to launch, what do we do? So these were the buckets that came out of the previous call that we did, which Jan and myself, we bucketed these. That was the task that we had to do together. So he had to look at the Figma file and he agreed with the buckets that I came up with. He made some suggestions, and these are all of the questions from those buckets. We ended up with 9 questions. Those 9 questions are we building the right thing? We're going to launch, what do we do? How do we set up a long-term research process? How do we get buy-in from the rest of the team? We're building something new. Are we on the right track? How do we come up with solutions to the problems our users are facing? What do we do with user feedback? What are the needs of our users, and what are the problems our users are facing? So this is literally straight out of that FigJam file that we jammed in. These were all of the questions, the buckets that came out, and I think this is a much better approach than the initial approach that I came up with. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts?
So what's the next step? Like each of this question has a different.
Yeah, so each of these questions, I wanted to almost gamify it, but I don't think it's possible to gamify it. I wanted to call it like route 1 and route 2, and these would be all these different roads that people would go off on. So if they had this question, they would choose route 1, and route 1 would basically take them on this one, are we building the right thing? And then it would be like 2 tools that would be suggested, so competitive analysis and rapid prototyping. Now, this ideation on the tools and the methods I did completely solo. So I really, I'd love you guys' input on this, because this is me thinking and ideating on which tools would be the best for these questions. So I'd love some input from you guys, because I don't know if the tools I chose are correct. I don't know if maybe there's some better tools. For example, we're building something new. Are we on the right track? Competitive analysis. A design sprint would then come off the competitive analysis, because then they can sprint and come up with new solutions and then building in public. So this Figma file, I shared it in the research channel. I'd love for you guys to comment in here, because I'd love to know if I'm on the right track, or if you guys have any other thoughts on the tools, on the current tools. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much what I've been up to the last 24 hours. Next to replying to a whole bunch of Summer of Bitcoin students messages in Slack. But I'd love to know your thoughts on this. Should I share the Figma file? Did I share I didn't share the link. There we go. Okay, Noi says this really makes sense. Can I share the link? Okay, yeah.
This is great. It really is the scaffold, the structure that holds all the individual pieces that we still have yet to do. And speaking of the individual pieces that we have still yet to do, Mo, do you have a link to where we were working on those tasks? Do you remember that?
I screenshotted. You made a summary in the research channel about the reminder of the tools. So I kind of just copied and pasted that in here.
Yeah, and then to better recall, did we agree? Did we agree that we're keeping this sort of The original model was, what was it? It was like figure out if you're building the right thing, prototype, and then ongoing evaluation, right?
Yeah.
Are we scrapping that for this new model, or do both of them live side by side?
Okay. Could you repeat that, please? So basically,
So the one way that we were thinking of it was
mhm,
that there would be three kind of phases that a user would choose from, like,
mhm,
um, am I building the right thing, prototyping and testing, and then ongoing evaluation, right?
mhm, mhm.
And then an idea that you and Jan are working on is this like path or journey model. Are we keeping both of these models, or are we sticking to just the new model?
That's a good question. I would say it depends on which model is the best suitable for our audience. Am I building? Sorry, what were those three buckets that you came up with? I have them in a Figma file, but I'm not going to look them up now.
Yeah, it was like three phases, like figure out what to build, right? Second one is prototype or test, and the third
Mhm.
one is ongoing evaluation, right? Does that make sense, Jakob? Are you with me?
Yeah,
Gustav?
yeah.
To build,
It's like simplified is discovery, iterate, and evaluate, I guess, right?
continue
Yes.
to test. Okay, yeah. Figure out what to build, prototype and test. Continue to test. So we have these three buckets, right? Figure out what to build, prototype and test. Continue to test. And then we have this one here, which is really, it's really a questions. So these are two different entry points that someone could, so they're going to arrive on this homepage. They're going to be likely a solo UX designer in a small team, working on a Bitcoin or Lightning project. And they're going to need to make a decision as to which are the right tools to use. Right. So they're going to look at this here, they're going to scroll around, they can look and approach it from a question format, or they could approach it from this sort of three bucketed format.
Yeah.
These are two very different approaches. Yeah.
I think what makes sense is we keep this one, we do a test on it.
Yeah.
Eventually, once we're live, we do a
We
test on
A/B
it to get
test it. Yeah.
exactly, just with like user interviews, maybe even a survey, right? And we just get people's feedback on like which model fits given their needs, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
'Cause these
Okay, that's helpful.
questions, yeah, I think that's a good idea because these questions, I was noticing even some relationships between the questions, because maybe in the end we don't really need 9 questions. I mean, 9 questions was the buckets that we arrived at from us doing that fig jam session together. But there's some connections over here. Some of them, what problems are our users facing, what are the needs of our users? I mean, these are pretty connected, these two. I know problems and needs is not the same thing, but we could rephrase this and put this together somehow. How do we get buy-in from the rest of the team? How do we set up a long-term research process? We're going to launch. What do we do? How do we come up with solutions to the problems our users are facing? So, I do see a connection between these two.
It seems like these questions sound a bit different depending on the bucket, the three phases you're starting about. So the problems, if there is no product yet, what are the problems the users have with the current products that exist, right? If there is our product, what are the problems the users have with our product? So depending on like where are we in the product development, these questions mean something else, I guess.
That's a very fair point.
At
But
least
again,
some of these questions, maybe not all of them, fit to like every phase, but
the purpose here is really to get like a shitty first draft out, right?
Yeah.
And I think what you have here is good. You can continue to add a question, remove a question. Let's just put it in front of humans eventually and get some feedback, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we focus on this initial image and we don't actually build, because we have all
Exactly.
these tools to build. But I do see an option to slightly bucket this into this three part process that you have here. There is an opportunity to do that. We can play around with that as we go along.
Okay.
But yeah, indeed, let's focus on building. I'll hand that part over to you. I'll stop sharing. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with that drawing on my iPad. I just wanted to have fun. So yeah,
And it does look fun, and it does look good.
it's fun.
And
It's a little bit messy, and yeah, I want to take away the research is a very clinical thing. I want to completely demystify that and slash that. So
totally agree. Okay, so in terms of concrete next steps, so what we talked about just now is what the container, the bucket is for the little pebbles that are our tools, right? And in terms of the tools themselves, it honestly really is just continuing to work on them. So what are those things? So on the one hand, we have, I'm just going to pull this up 1 second.
hey Timmy, I've just seen you. Welcome. Thanks for joining the call. Feel free to speak at any point and jump in.
Thank you so much.
So we have several here. We have design sprint, building in public, moderated usability tests, repository, rapid prototyping. And we gave roughly a month-ish to work on it, but life is life and people go on vacations and stuff. So I'm just going to share that here. Does that make sense? Yeah. And I'm going to also write it in our documents. And what I've done is I built a little inspiration template that folks can use to write these assets with. And really, that's kind of where we're at. It's just doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know for me, I can give my to-dos if you would like to add them to I know what I need to do, and what I need to focus on.
Do it. What are they?
There's a whole bunch of stuff. So I need to focus on the homepage. I need to rewrite the homepage, what do you call it? The homepage text. And I need to integrate this image into the homepage. So that I need to rewrite the whole homepage. There's another task that's related to this homepage. That's an idea from Christoph for something for the Bitcoin design community. I have it here in my Notion. I'm just going to pull it up. Where is it here? Bitcoin design guide to do. Yeah, he suggested creating a UX research playbook. Now, I think that this UX research playbook idea and this homepage are going to be somewhat connected to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to figure out that. So for me, it's focusing on the homepage, reiterating on the homepage, adding in links from projects, Bitcoin and Lightning projects in the community that have done UX research.
So let me ask you this: in terms of making a playbook, is that a priority now, or is that a priority once we have a draft out for the toolkit?
Good question. Let me pull up the link here, because this is the playbook. So this is one playbook. It's called the Bitcoin Community Collaboration Playbook. I'm going to share my screen here. Let me see. Okay. So this is what it looks like. It's a Bitcoin design community collaboration playbook. The goal of this document is to define common types of collaborations to serve as a starting point for new inquiries. See, it's a starting point for new inquiries, and the homepage of the UX Research Toolkit is the starting point for kicking off research. And basically, what this document is outlining, and what I'd also like to write about, is what are the problems that I'm seeing in the Bitcoin space in terms of UX research, what needs to be addressed. So those, redesign, find a designer. This is a process for how collaborations would work within the Bitcoin design community, and it's a step-by-step process. So it's almost as if within the UX research toolkit, there would almost be this step-by-step process for every single tool that we have. But then I also see and envision something a little bit more umbrella-like in, these are the problems that we see within the UX research space. And, here's the toolkit, and then link out to the toolkit. So I see it almost as being two separate documents. One would be the homepage and the other one would be a playbook, but I'm not quite sure how they're connected right now. I need to figure that out. But I think the homepage is indeed my priority right now. And this playbook, I think, will come off of the homepage. It'll trickle off of it somehow. But not a main priority, but it's definitely something I want to write out. I want to write out a UX research playbook. So definitely something I want to do. I also need to write out the usability testing. Is also moderated usability tests. That's also on my to-do. So you can feel free to add that into the assign that task to me within GitHub.
Do you folks want things assigned to you? Do you folks want to track your own tasks?
I want them to be assigned to me. I like things to be assigned to.
Yeah.
We do that in the Bitcoin design guide as well when we have our
Yeah.
guide sessions. And I like seeing like, yeah, okay, that's my one. I need to,
Okay.
I need to cook that up. I like that.
Okay. Sounds good. That's helpful.
How
You
about
like some
you?
project management in your life, eh?
Yeah, I guess that's what it's made for, assignment. I'm not assigned to anything now except the opening discussion with the how we should make the toolkit more Bitcoin. But I would like to contribute to moderate it. I mean, we can kind of do it together if you wish. This is something I've done, so I can contribute a bit.
For sure.
So I'll be happy to share that.
I'll start off with the moderated usability testing. I'll start off with the homepage one. What else do we have left?
Really, it's building out the tools. I have a couple of tasks that are hanging from a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
For example, writing out Scrappy research, what that looks like in terms of what, in a nutshell, it means skim through the method and take only what's feasible for you given your circumstance. That's Scrappy research. Don't make it clinical to most points. Or just enough research is another way of looking at it. And then I think everybody's poised for success, honestly. Who is confused here? Who doesn't know what the next steps are? Who would like some support?
I think Jan couldn't join, I guess, but him and Letitia messaged me before the call that she couldn't make it. So I guess Jan and Letitia were the ones for the design sprint. I'm not sure if they still would like to take that up. I do have design sprint resources as well from the Bitcoin design community, because John's in the Bitcoin design community is the guy who's always conducted the sprints. So I do have a sprint template from him, which we've used time and time again in the community.
Does he want to write it?
I do think that it might be a good idea to look at that template as well and use it, or try to incorporate it somehow in terms of with what Jan and Letitia comes up with, because it's a template that we've kind of just used time and time again. Maybe I don't know. I mean, it's Jan's one. Maybe I don't know if it's okay with Jan and Letitia. Maybe I can kick off a Google document on that one as well.
I'm sure they would not be mad at that. They'd be like, oh no, you took our job.
No,
No.
I mean, I'm happy to kick off something like that and then have them comment in the Google document. I'm in building stage now. I just want to build. So yeah.
Does Johns want to have his hand in writing or contributing to this?
I
Would
can
you be
I
able
can
to
tag
ask?
him. I can tag him in that one. I think that's a really good idea. I'll reach out to him and I'll tell him that we're writing something about
Yeah.
the sprints, and if he'd like to just comment or add some feedback on the Google document.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I'll also add the template as a link in the project plan here, just so that it's easier to find for folks. Okay.
I
So
just
our next,
realized I've given myself a lot of tasks. Homepage, usability
I
test.
think, I think the playbook is a backlog, to be honest. I think
Yeah,
this collaboration playbook is like a V2 kind of thing.
yeah, yeah. I think that will eventually stream off of it, but I definitely do need to focus a lot of my time next week on creating content,
Yeah.
ability
We're
testing, homepage, that kind of thing. Yeah. So if you assign the
uh,
task to me on GitHub, just
yeah.
assign it to me, and I'm gonna go.
Oh man. Okay. Sounds good. Um, in terms of assigning tasks, I need folks to join the repo itself. So let
Oh,
me just make sure that you folks are part of the repo, and then we'll go from there. Give me 1 second.
no worries.
Yeah, I
Just
think I
writing my.
already.
Yeah, I think you may have already joined, Jakob.
Yeah, I'm gonna start the issue, the discussion there, so I'll have to join.
Jakob is going to be our how can we Bitcoinize this? Bitcoinize this.
I like that, and I forgot to mention, Jakob, we've been in talks with Mo and Christoph about this sort of case study idea, where Christoph made a beautiful list of like all the design slash research projects that have been done in the Bitcoin design space since his tenure. And the reason why that's important is because Mo could come in and be like, okay, we did this tool for that method or for this project. Here's a case study. We did this other tool for this thing. Here's another case study, you know? And so it could really fit into what you're saying, which is like, what are examples of projects that the community has done?
Because you've been doing stuff at GetAlbi as well, right? And now you're setting up a repository also at GetAlbi. So even if we, when we do have the text for when we're doing the write up for the repository stuff, you're perfectly qualified to give some input on that because you're literally doing that in your everyday job.
I agree. So Mo, you just gotta it should come to your email. You just gotta accept the repo invite, and then we're good to go.
I'm gonna accept it.
Yeah. Does everybody know where to go for like in terms?
If we'll have that on GitHub link somewhere.
Gotcha. Like a central place that links out everything. Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Or on the on the Toolkit website. I don't know if it's already linked there. Probably
That's a
not.
good point too. That's a good point too. Okay. Sounds good. I can handle that. Cool. Okay, friends. When is our next meeting, Mo?
Good question. This is a very good question. I'm literally opening up my phone now. Today is we are in March already. It's the 16th. We did these around Jakob, right? So Jakob could join.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see one for next week unless I forgot to set that one up. Maybe because because Jakob, you're free only every second Thursday, right?
Yes, exactly.
So could we not do the 30th at the same time?
I don't know. Does that work for you guys?
Yeah, it's a thumbs up for me.
Yeah, works fine.
Yeah, it
I, want,
works for me as well. I don't have anything on the 30th. I mean, I'm working on the 30th, but 30th. 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 30 I don't have any call at that time.
Oh, you have.
Timmy says it's good for him too. Perfect.
I didn't know he would do that. Sorry.
Okay, I'll make a note here to set up a GitHub issue for the 30th. At the same time?
The same time would be best for me. This time actually works really well.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Cool.
Yeah, I'd love for you guys, if you have a moment or a chance to jump into that Figma file and comment on if you think that the tools I've suggested are relevant to those questions. Because I don't want it to be my bias. I feel it's very biased if I'm the only one who decides which tools fit in there. But I'll add that in the repository somehow. I'll share the link with Art so he can add it.
I've linked it to our actual meeting minutes
Perfect.
over here.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. There's no need for us to make the call any longer. I guess it's pretty clear what needs to be done, what we're all going to do.
Yeah.
I'm excited to start writing some content. Just one Google Doc after the other, and just go. Especially the usability testing one. I have so much of stuff from the usability tests that we've done also within the community. So yeah, I'm just ready to build.
I have some templates I created for my previous job for usability testing. I think I even half based it on something you wrote like a year ago or something. So I can send it to you. We can merge it somehow together, and maybe it will be already a good start.
Have you done any usability tests for Get Albi? You did user
Not
journey
yet.
mapping.
Not just the journey mapping. But to be honest, right now we have so much user input that before I get some new one, I just need to gather all the current one together and just understand what we have now, and then I will explore more. But so far I have such a big amount of quite well understood problems that it's enough. Yeah, but for sure, we're building some new product or like version 2 of new product, and then we have to user test with podcast creators mostly.
Super cool.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty
Great
much
work.
it. Oh, no, he's jumped on again. I don't think we have anything else to discuss.
The one thing, Mo, is with the repo, it's to lean in and ask if your new friends are comfortable contributing and are writing that section, because they're like we want to have the people who do that often
Exactly.
write the method, right? Would you be able to find that out?
Yeah, I'm going to, I think action task for me as well. Reach out to Johns. Do you want to reach out to Jan? Letitia messaged me, so I can reach out to Letitia as well.
Reach out to both of them while you're at it.
Yeah, I'll reach out. So I'll make a note here. I'll reach out to Jan, Johns, and Letitia. So that'll be my task. To
And to
yeah.
reach out to these new repository folks.
Which one's Art?
Well, the new friends that you've made that have built repos, right?
Yeah.
Andrew? Yeah.
Paolo, I actually was messaging him just before this call. He was actually at a conference, so he wasn't able to join. But I'm pretty sure he's super nice. If I kick something off and share a Google Doc with him, I'm pretty sure he'll have some very good input, because he's the guy who created that Notion template. And he's actually working in Web3 at the moment, and he's using that template to build at the moment as we speak.
Perfect.
So yeah, he's a good one. Yeah, cool. I will do some reaching out. Reaching out and building. Reach out and build.
It's the dream. Living the dream.
It's perfect, right? Okay, I'm going to stop the recording. Thanks everyone for joining. 1 second.